Imagine waking up one morning, staring at the ceiling, and feeling an unshakable heaviness in your chest. The alarm blares, but you're already exhausted. You drag yourself through the motions: coffee, commute, work, repeat, yet something gnaws at you. It's not just tiredness, it's a quiet, creeping dread. You're alive, but are you truly living? Or are you wasting your life, trapped in a cycle that feels like a betrayal of who you were meant to be? This isn't just a bad day. For millions, it's a way of life. Anxiety grips your thoughts, depression dulls your senses, and a vague sense of numbness settles in. You're not alone in this. The World Health Organization reports that over 300 million people worldwide suffer from depression, and anxiety disorders affect even more. But what if these aren't just chemical imbalances or brain malfunctions? What if they're signals, urgent messages from your psyche, screaming that you're living a life disconnected from meaning? Swiss psychiatrist Carl Gustav Jung, one of the most profound thinkers of the 20th century, believed that much of our modern suffering stems from a spiritual crisis. To Jung, anxiety and depression aren't just problems to be medicated away. They're symptoms of a deeper disconnection from our authentic selves. Man cannot stand a meaningless life, he wrote. Yet in our rush to conform, achieve, and survive, we've lost touch with the inner voice that guides us toward purpose. We've traded our souls for security, and the cost is a life half-lived. This is a wake-up call. If you've ever felt lost, stuck, or like you're merely surviving, this journey into Jung's philosophy will challenge you to stop wasting your life. Through the lens of Jungian psychology, we'll explore why you feel this way, what your psyche is trying to tell you, and how to reclaim the life you were meant to live. By the end, you'll be asked a question. Are you ready to face yourself, or will you let another day slip away? Let's start with a story. Meet Sarah, a 34-year-old marketing manager. On paper, her life is a success. A well-paying job, a nice apartment, a packed social calendar. But inside, she's unraveling. She lies awake at night, her mind racing with worries she can't name. She feels like a fraud at work, always one mistake away from being exposed. Her relationships feel shallow, her passions faded. I don't know who I am anymore, she whispers to herself. What's the point of all this? Sarah's story isn't unique. It's the story of countless people in our modern world, where we're bombarded with expectations to be productive, successful, and perpetually happy. Social media showcases curated lives, work demands constant hustle, and society rewards those who conform to its mold. But in chasing these external markers of success, we often lose something vital: our connection to our inner world. Jung saw this disconnection as the root of psychological suffering. He believed that the human psyche is a dynamic system, a delicate balance between the conscious mind, the ego, and the unconscious, which holds the raw, untamed aspects of who we are. When we live only for the ego-chasing status, security, or approval, we starve the unconscious, and it fights back. Anxiety, depression, and that nagging sense of emptiness are its battle cries. In Jung's view, the unconscious isn't just a repository of repressed memories. It's a wellspring of creativity, wisdom, and meaning. It speaks to us through dreams, intuitions, and even our pain. But most of us have forgotten how to listen. We medicate our symptoms, distract ourselves with entertainment, or double down on work, hoping to outrun the void. Yet the void grows, and with it, the sense that we're wasting our lives. To stop wasting your life, Jung argued, you must embark on a journey inward, a process he called individuation. Individuation isn't about becoming perfect or achieving some idealized version of yourself. It's about becoming whole, integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of your psyche to live authentically. It's about discovering who you are, not who the world expects you to be. Let's break down Jung's key ideas and how they apply to reclaiming your life. 1. The shadow, facing your hidden self. Every one of us carries a shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny or suppress our fears, insecurities, desires, or traits we deem unacceptable. Sarah, for example, prides herself on being kind and professional, but her shadow holds her unacknowledged anger, her fear of failure, and her longing for freedom. She pushes these feelings down, but they don't disappear. They fester, manifesting as anxiety or self-sabotage. Jung believed that ignoring the shadow creates inner conflict. What we resist persists, he might say. The shadow doesn't just vanish, it leaks into our lives, distorting our relationships and decisions. To stop wasting your life, you must confront your shadow with courage. This means asking hard questions. What am I afraid to admit about myself? What desires have I buried? What truths am I avoiding? This process isn't easy. Facing the shadow can feel like staring into a dark mirror, seeing parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. But Jung saw this as a heroic act. By acknowledging and integrating the shadow, you reclaim lost energy and gain a deeper understanding of yourself. Sarah, for instance, might realize that her anxiety stems from suppressing her desire to quit her job and pursue a creative passion. By embracing this truth, she takes the first step toward a more authentic life. 2. The persona, shedding the mask. If the shadow is what we hide from ourselves, the persona is the mask we show the world. It's the carefully crafted identity we adopt to fit in Sarah's polished professional demeanor, the good friend, the successful adult. The persona isn't inherently bad. It helps us navigate society. But when we over-identify with it, we lose touch with our true selves. Jung warned that living solely through the persona leads to a hollow existence. You become a performer on life's stage, playing a role that earns applause but leaves you empty. To stop wasting your life, you must loosen the persona's grip. This doesn't mean abandoning social norms entirely, but rather questioning which parts of your identity are authentic and which are imposed. Are you living for yourself or for others' expectations? For Sarah, shedding the persona might mean admitting she hates her corporate job, even if it disappoints her family. It might mean showing vulnerability to her friends instead of always being the strong one. This process requires courage, as it risks judgment or rejection. But it's also liberating, freeing you to live as your true self. 3. The anima, animus, embracing the other within. Jung believed that every person carries an inner other, the anima, the feminine aspect in men, or animus, the masculine aspect in women. These archetypes represent qualities opposite to our conscious identity, such as intuition, emotion, or assertiveness. When we repress these qualities, we limit our potential and create inner tension. For example, Sarah's animus might embody the decisiveness and ambition she suppressed in favor of being likable. By connecting with her animus, she could tap into the strength to make bold life changes. Jung saw this integration as essential to wholeness, allowing us to balance our inner opposites and live more fully. This concept extends beyond gender. The anima, animus, represents the bridge to the unconscious, guiding us toward creativity and meaning. Engaging with it might mean exploring your dreams, journaling about your emotions, or pursuing activities that feel unlike you but resonate deeply. 4. The self, the center of meaning. At the heart of individuation lies the self, the archetype of wholeness that transcends the ego. The self is your true essence, the guiding force that aligns your life with purpose. Jung likened it to the divine within, a source of wisdom that emerges when you integrate the shadow, persona, and anima, animus. Connecting with the self requires listening to the unconscious through dreams, symbols, or moments of intuition. It's about trusting that your psyche knows what you need, even when your ego resists. For Sarah, this might mean recognizing that her restlessness is a call to pursue a life aligned with her values, not society's. Jung believed that the self often manifests in symbols of unity, like circles or mandalas. In many cultures, the mandala represents the universe and the self, a reminder that you are both a unique individual and part of a greater whole. By aligning with the self, you stop wasting your life on superficial pursuits and start living with purpose. 5. The hero's journey, the call to adventure. Jung's ideas align closely with the hero's journey, a universal story structure identified by mythologist Joseph Campbell. In this narrative, the hero hears a call to adventure, leaves the comfort of the ordinary world, faces trials in the unknown, and returns transformed. Jung saw this as a metaphor for individuation. For many of us, the call to adventure comes as a crisis anxiety, depression, or a sense that life has lost meaning. This is the psyche's way of saying, you can't keep living this way. Ignoring the call leads to stagnation. Answering it requires courage. Sarah's call might be the moment she realizes she can't keep pretending to be happy in her current life. Her journey involves facing her fears, exploring her unconscious, and emerging with a renewed sense of purpose. The hero's journey isn't a one-time event. It's a lifelong process of growth, death, and rebirth. Each time you answer the call, you move closer to wholeness. To bring Jung's ideas to life, let's explore a fictional parable inspired by his philosophy. Once, in a bustling city, lived a man named Elias. By day, he was a respected accountant, admired for his precision and reliability. But by night, he was haunted by dreams of a vast forest, where a voice whispered, "Find the light." Elias dismissed these dreams, burying himself in work. Yet the dreams grew vivid, and with them came a restlessness he couldn't shake. One evening, Elias wandered into a quiet park, drawn by an inexplicable urge. There, under an ancient oak, he saw a shadowy reflection of himself, cloaked in doubt and fear. "Who are you?" Elias asked, trembling. The figure replied, "I am your shadow, the parts of you you've forgotten. Follow me, or you'll wander forever." Terrified but curious, Elias followed the shadow into a dreamlike forest. The path was treacherous, filled with thorns of self-doubt and rivers of regret. At one point, he met a radiant woman, his anima, who offered him a mirror. "Look," she said. In the mirror, Elias saw not just his face, but his unfulfilled dreams, a painter's brush, a traveler's map. "These are yours," the anima whispered. "Claim them." As Elias journeyed deeper, he faced a dragon, his fear of failure. With the anima's guidance, he spoke to the dragon, not with a sword, but with honesty. "I'm afraid," he admitted. The dragon shrank, revealing a glowing orb, the self. Touching it, Elias felt a surge of purpose. The voice from his dreams spoke again, "You are enough." When Elias awoke, he was back in the park, but something had shifted. He quit his job, enrolled in art school, and began painting. His life wasn't perfect, but it was his. The restlessness was gone, replaced by a quiet joy. Elias had stopped wandering and started living. This parable illustrates Jung's process of individuation. Elias's shadow led him to confront his suppressed desires. His anima guided him to his potential, and the self anchored him in purpose. Like Elias, you may need to face your own forest to stop wasting your life. Jung's philosophy isn't just abstract theory. It's a roadmap for transformation. Here's how to apply his ideas to stop wasting your life. 1. Listen to your symptoms. Anxiety, depression, or restlessness aren't just problems. They're messages. Ask yourself, what is my psyche trying to tell me? Journal about your feelings, dreams, or recurring thoughts to uncover their meaning. 2. Confront your shadow. Reflect on the parts of yourself you avoid. Are you suppressing anger, fear, or a secret desire? Try shadow work by writing a letter to your shadow, asking what it wants you to know. Be honest, even if it's uncomfortable. 3. Question your persona. List the roles you play: employee, parent, friend. Which feel authentic and which feel like masks? Experiment with small acts of authenticity. like sharing a vulnerable thought or saying no to an obligation. 4. Engage your anima, animus. Explore qualities you've repressed. If you're overly logical, try creative pursuits like writing or dancing. If you're overly emotional, practice assertiveness. Pay attention to dreams, as they often reveal anima, animus figures. 5. Seek the self. Meditate, create art, or spend time in nature to connect with your inner wisdom. Visualize a symbol of wholeness, like a mandala, and ask, what does my self want me to do? Trust the answers that emerge. 6. Answer the call. Identify your call to adventure. Is it a career change, a difficult conversation, or a creative project? Take one small step toward it, even if it scares you. Courage is the antidote to a wasted life. 7. Build a practice. Individuation is a lifelong journey. Set aside time each week for self-reflection, whether through journaling, therapy, or meditation. Surround yourself with people who support your authenticity, not your persona. Let's return to Sarah. After months of soul-searching, she began listening to her unconscious. She journaled her dreams, confronted her fear of failure, and admitted her longing to write poetry. She took a leap, quitting her job to teach creative writing part-time. Her life isn't glamorous, but it's hers. For the first time in years, she feels alive. Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Every day, you face a choice: to keep wasting your life on a path that isn't yours, or to embark on the journey to wholeness. It won't be easy. The forest is dark, the dragon is fierce, and the world will tempt you to stay in your comfort zone. But the alternative is a life of quiet despair, a life half-lived." So, ask yourself, are you ready to face your shadow, shed your mask, and answer the call? Are you ready to stop wasting your life and start living it? The journey begins with a single step. Take it today